Move through a lazy mobility session with me. I'm using 2 blocks today, and I'm gonna get started on my back. So meet me down on your spine. Let's take the feet about mat distance apart. Let those arms fall open wide. And from here, we're starting to rock those knees side to side like windshield wipers. I want you to really think about trying to push the knees toward the earth. If they don't touch, that's okay. That's just the intention behind the movement. Creating a little bit of activation through the hips. Let's do about 1 more on each side. And as you finish off that cycle, let those legs come back through center. Straightening the left leg to the earth, then pulling that right knee up toward the chest, and just giving that knee a little bit of a squeeze, maybe a little bit of a rock side to side. From here, flip your grip so you're holding onto the hamstring, and then just start to bend and straighten the leg. Now don't worry about getting the leg all the way straight. Just move through your limitations, allowing the body to gently open up for you. Finishing off with this last rep. And then pause when the leg is straight, keeping the core tight, float the heel down towards the earth, and then kick that foot back up. We're just doing a few more of these here. Now, as I move through this, my spine is neutral. Let's do about 2 more. Finishing it off. Right leg comes all the way down to the ground, and let's trade for the left. Left knee pulls up to the chest. Just give it a little squeeze in, maybe a little rock side to side. Start to flip that grip, grabbing onto the hamstring, and then we'll bend and straighten that leg. Once again, friendly reminder, that leg doesn't have to get all the way straight. Just want the body to gently open up. Finishing off with this last rep, when the leg is straight, take a pause, release the grip, and then float that left heel toward the earth. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Keeping that spine nice and flat to the earth, or nice and neutral, remembering that neutral is a little bit different for everybody. Bringing a little bit of love into that hip flexor, just staying for a few more reps. Last one. Left leg lifts up, take a pause, and then start to pull that right leg up as well. Hugging the knees to the chest, maybe even rounding the nose toward those knees, and lifting that lumbar spine off the mat. So we just find a bit of decompression through the low back. From here, let's unwind, rolling onto your right side body, coming into a little reach and rotate. So right elbow's under my right shoulder, and taking that left leg and just sliding it back. To give you a bit of an idea of alignment, I've got my left knee and my left hip bone in a line. Now I want to engage through my right lat, and keep that engagement as I reach that left arm all the way up, all the way overhead, and then I begin to rotate as if I'm shining my heart towards that right forearm. Inhale, unwind. Reach up, reach overhead, core tight, hips even. Find that rotation. Press firmly through that right forearm. Let's do about 3 more like that. Last one here. All right, when you're done, let's just simply switch sides. Coming all the way up and rolling it over. So finding your way to your left side body, left elbow under left shoulder, right leg slides back. Now again, the alignment there is hip bone in line with knee. Engage through that left lat. Keep that engagement as we reach that right arm up and over. Bicep framing those ears. And then start to exhale, twisting as we rotate, opening the heart toward that left forearm. Inhale, open it up. Reach it up and over. Exhale, rotate, keeping that left lat nice and engaged as we do. You're starting to increase that mobility through the T-spine here. Last 2 reps. Last one. When you've completed, let's start to come all the way up. We're just making our way into a hands and knees position. You can move through a little bit of cat-cow here. Now keep your blocks closed because we will need them pretty soon. Fingers spread nice and wide, toes tucked. And we'll start by taking an inhale as we arch the back, and then exhaling to round the spine. I like to try to come into the deepest ranges of motion possible here. So I try to come into the deepest ranges of motion possible here, really opening up the heart, and then really curling under. Now you could continue this movement, or you could start moving in any other way that feels good. Sometimes I like to rock side to side, or almost making little circles. And feel free to explore for these last 3 cycles. All right, nice big inhale. With that exhale coming back through center, let's just grab onto the blocks here. Really love the support they offer as we start opening to a lat stretch. So starting to walk the hands and the blocks to the left, just bowing the heart down. Now, of course, if you prefer to do this with no blocks, that's totally fine. You're getting the same engagement, the same stretch. Just hanging out for 2 more cycles. All right, last breath in. And that exhale, start to slide those blocks back in, walking the hands through center, and then over to the right. It's the same movement, other side, just bowing the heart forward and finding that beautiful stretch through the left side body. Final cycle in. And with that exhale, once again, walking those blocks back through center. Now I'm going to keep my hands onto the blocks, and I'll start opening my knees nice and wide, keeping my big toes together. From here, I'll start to shift my hips back towards my heels, and then I'll start to shift my weight forward. Now when I shift forward, I drop my pelvis, I lift my chest, finding a little back bend before sliding back. And keep in mind, the back bend is always optional. And if you don't want to drop the pelvis down, you do not need to. Just go into the range of motion that feels comfortable for you. I like to move with breath. And feel free to go as fast or as slow as your body wants. Now, if you're feeling pretty good here, You may choose to start splitting those feet open a little wider. You'll get a little bit more intensity as you rock the hips back toward the heels. So we'll stay for a few more cycles. All right, last one. From here, shifting my weight back, kind of dropping my blocks to the lowest setting and just placing my forearms on top. And then I'll open my knees a little more, just dropping my pelvis toward the earth. And then I'll start to pick up my feet. So you're welcome to stay right here, or perhaps you pick up one foot and then slide it back down to the earth. Maybe you pick up that other leg, right? Slide it back down to the earth. So again, feel free to stay static or to add a little bit of movement here as we hang out deep in this hip opener. Let's do about one more each side. And then from there, we'll let the feet come down, big toes slide back together as we start to slide the knees in. I love to make some circles here, just reducing some sensations through the hips. Feel free to join me if that feels good. Maybe go in the opposite direction. And then we'll come into some scapula push-ups. So aligning the shoulders and the wrists. From this quadruped position, I want you to think of pulling your shoulder blades together. You'll notice your heart drops down toward the earth. With your exhale, you'll slide the shoulder blades apart, almost like you're puffing up the upper back. Let's just move through a few of these here. Coming down and then lifting up. Now, if this feels a little bit uncomfortable for you today, you're always welcome to do this in a kneeling position with those arms reached out in front of you. And just finding a little bit of awareness through the scapula here. Creating a little bit of strength while still maintaining a nice chilled out movement session. Let's do about 3 more. Last one. Nice. Now we're going to puff up that upper back and maintain that. And let's just step the left foot outside of the left hand. Now you can stay upright like this. You may even bring your blocks a little bit higher here. Alternatively, you may choose to slide that back knee back, creating a deeper stretch through the hip flexor. But let's add a T-spine rotation. So in the inhale, I'm sliding my left arm up across the body toward the sky. And on the exhale, I'm sliding that left arm under that right armpit. Just gonna do about 3 more of those. Finishing off that last one, 2 hands come down to the ground. Let's flip your blocks to the low setting. And then just resting your hands or forearms on the blocks as we find that nice big stretch through the right hip flexor. Just breathe with me a few deep cycles. Taking a breath in. And with that breath out, rising back up if you're on the forearms. Let's bring the hands to blocks. And then with an exhale, starting to straighten the left leg. Maybe even rounding the nose toward the knee. And just feel that nice hamstring stretch. We'll stay here for a few cycles. Last breath in. With your exhale, shifting forward. So we're finding our way back into this lunge position. And let's just rise up, taking the hands and sweeping them behind the back, reaching for opposite elbows. So we're drawing the shoulders back and opening the chest. I want you to think about maintaining a square in your hips, almost as if that left thigh is pulling back and that right thigh is pulling forward. Right? You may choose to stay here in neutral, or you may choose to find a little back bend as you lift the sternum up. Maybe the gaze goes up. We'll stay for 3 cycles. Last cycle in. And with that exhale, we'll release. 2 hands come to blocks. Now we'll transition by stepping the right foot forward and just landing in a forward fold here. Let's just take a few breaths. So your hands could stay to blocks. You could also reach for opposite elbows, maybe even swaying side to side here. Now I like my knees to have a deep enough bend that my belly presses to the thighs, and that just adds a bit more support to the low back. Let's take one last breath. Stay for the exhale. And then bring those hands back to blocks. This time stepping the left foot back, landing the knee down to the ground. All right. Once again, you could be in a more upright position here, even bringing your blocks a little higher. And of course, you could kind of pull that left knee back, creating a bit more stretch to that hip flexor. Now let's add that rotation. In the inhale, right arm pulls up across the body, reaching for the sky. In the exhale, we rotate, pulling that hand under. Let's do one last rep. Beautiful. Now we'll stay and hold. Perhaps the hands come to blocks, staying right as you are, or maybe you drop those blocks into their lower setting. Hands or forearms can come down onto them as we breathe into that nice, deep hip opener. Now this stretch targets the hip flexor on the left side. That being said, you could be feeling this in a few different places. So keep in mind that your personal experience is completely valid here. Let the breaths be long and deep, and just ease into it. Let's take one final breath in, staying for the exhale, and then starting to rise back up onto those blocks. From here, we'll begin to straighten the right leg as we rock the hips back. Now you're welcome to start rounding the nose toward the knee here, just finding a nice big stretch. And keep in mind, those blocks can always come onto their highest setting to create a bit more support. Find that comfy position and just allow yourself to round and settle into it. Taking a big breath in and using that exhale to rise up, bending back into that right leg and rising to that lunge position. Once again, we're finding the square of the hips by pulling that right hip back, sliding that left thigh forward, and then sweeping the hands to the elbows. Draw the shoulders back. And perhaps you're staying here in your neutral spine, or maybe you're finding a back bend, lifting the sternum and the gaze up toward the ceiling. Last breath in. And with that exhale, rising up, two hands to blocks. Let's do that same transition. This time, left foot steps up to meet the right, and we'll just fold forward. Letting that head soften and relax, and maybe reaching for opposite elbows. Taking one last melting breath. Staying for the exhale. And letting the hands come to blocks as we step our way back. Let's come to a child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide. Hips press back to the heels. And I'm just placing my blocks on about my forearms or my hands. Just creating a bit of extra room to stretch my shoulders and my lats. Let's stay here for about 3 more cycles of breath. Big breath in and let it go. Thanks so much for joining me for today's session. And I'll see you in the next one.